Well, greetings everybody, and welcome to this week's Metaworld news. Now I missed the one in my queue, so I just hope it's working properly. Right, these are going to be our headlines for the week ending the 7th of May, which sorry, the seventh of
Oh,
June. Yes, yeah, just made it there. 7th of June of the year 2020, and rather appropriately, the first screen I've got up is a monthly roundup of the biggest news from May. Last week's show, of course, was the last day of May, so it's easy to get confused about these things, isn't it?
hmm
Talking of confused, I think my name is Mal Burns. In fact, actually, I'm pretty darn sure it is.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Mal Space Burns,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
But if I want to direct you to my Twitter account, I can't give you Mal Space Burns. I have to go to MALBURNS. Yes, Twitter will squash me as they always do. Well, they squash everything, don't they? In fact, most of the web squashes everything when you think about it. So you can find my Twitter stream at twitter.com/malbones, and you can also find another one at twitter.com/metaworldnews, as in the name of this show. And most of what I'll be reading out here and showing you as we go along can be found on that stream. So if you miss a link or something like that, just check out twitter.com/malburns, which is the one with most things in it. Anyway, as I said, I think I am that said person. Can't be too sure these days. Our brain seems to be in lockdown half the time too. But I am joined, I know I'm joined for definite, by James Atloud, who is pressing buttons and putting multiple cameras on screen, including my desktop, and commenting now and again too. So, welcome, James.
Oh, thank you, Mal. I enjoy being here.
Wonderful. Well, you wouldn't have enjoyed it if you were live a quarter of an hour ago when I was all ready to go and everything went kaboom, or
Mm,
crashed, in other words. And I've had to have a hasty recovery here, which means I haven't got all the tabs I thought I would have open, and I've got half my startup items have gone wonky, and my Apple machine has decided that it wants to go back to being in light mode, which I can't stand. You know, I'm so used to dark modes on my things. Anyway, we've rescued a bit of it, and we're ready to go, I hope. Now, as I said, appropriately, the first screen I've got up is monthly roundup, the biggest AR and VR news from May 2020. Now, this is a regular post from uploadvr.com, uploadvr.com, and not surprisingly, this was posted on the last day of May, May 31st, which would have been last week, but it certainly wasn't published when we were on air. It must have been like in the later hours of the night that was the last of May,
right.
or however you put it. Anyway, they've gone through the stuff, and one thing they are promoting here, I may have it later on, I'm not sure, is the summer edition of their VR showcase. This is naturally online, and it's June the 8th, which is actually tomorrow, Monday. One of many things actually that pops up tomorrow, Monday, and also Tuesday and stuff. Anyway, if you want more about that and the roundup of all the month's main news and stuff, check out uploadvr.com. Putting that one away for a minute, we have one here at Medium. Fortunately, it's in a section that is medium.com dash virtual dash library. Sorry, I should have said medium.com slash virtual dash library. It's that section. And it's an interview by somebody called Nerd Pirates, or some people called Nerd Pirates, I
Mm,
would think, with somebody called Adam Boyle, sort of talking about XR and things. It's not somebody I particularly know. He's actually British, so maybe I should. But it's a nice extended interview of somebody working in the field basically, but largely in the VR, the 3D field rather than virtual worlds. But there you go. So you'll find that at medium.com, and it's in the section called Virtual Library, which is not behind their paywall, which is very nice news for you, I'm sure. Right, this is cgchannel.com. That's cgchannel.com. And I'm not familiar with this at all, but there's you know, we all know Unity and the Unreal Engine and stuff. Well, there's another engine called Godot, and their version 4, the uh, well, the game engine will actually run in your web browser. I don't mean you can create stuff for the web, although I believe you can in this, but the actual browser contains the picture you see on screen there, the actual interface for actually building with. Um, so a working prototype of 3.2 is already available to test online. And this Godot 4 engine, which is imminent, will deliver an almost native user experience when running the editor on the web.
Hmm.
So there we go. Find this post, as I said, it is cgchannel.com. So that CG is like computer graphics, basically, I imagine, then channel.com. And fair enough, put that one away. Now we go to our hypergrid business here. This one's actually in the main feed. I suppose simply because David Karuki has written here, 1st of June, so this would have been Monday, that his top 30 enterprise friendly VR spaces. So, no, the actual hypergrid here, it's all various spaces. Atagora, I don't know, Akadicus, I've heard of that one. Old Space VR, which most of us have heard of. Arthur, yeah, good old Arthur. It actually looks it looks like another world, but
Hmm.
you're going to have so many before they start looking alike these days. Another one called Avatar, CAD Explorer, Connect 2. What else have we got? Dream. Oh, um, doesn't look very virtual to me, but maybe who knows? Engage VR. This one, of course, is
Yeah.
fairly
Yeah.
familiar. And glue. Oh no, it's more, even more. 13 weren't they? Right. One called Glue. Um, okay, another one with a lot of these being commercial and for the enterprise actually cost a fair old bit of money. Um, then we got Immersed and we got Inside VR, Iris VR. Oh, more the 14th one too. Meeting Room IO and 15 meeting VR, 16, so much for 13. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also VR,
Hmm.
Oxford Medical Simulator and Rec Room at 18, Roomy at 19, and 20 Science Space. Why is it down there? Sketchbox 21, Soft Space, Somnium Space, Spatial. I've been trying to get going on that one. Surgical Theatre, The Wild. I've got a feeling this is updated some point in the week.
Yeah. And
VR conference.
way beyond 20 now, even.
Yeah, VR spatial. Yeah, up to 28. Wave is 29. Wander 30. Yeah, 30. Right, not 13. Maybe it's a typo at the top of the page. I don't know. How do I find the top of the page? I'm far too far down it now.
Hmm.
Oh, sorry, top 30 enterprise. I'm being silly. So, yeah, that's quite a queue, isn't it? So, for this, you want to go to www.hypergridbusiness.com. That's HYPERGRID and then business.com. Hypergrid Business, of course, is actually squashed into one word, as is the way of the web. Yeah, the way of the web.
Hmm.
Yes, can't argue with that. Okay. Um, so moving on from that one. Now, the original page I was going to start with, I better, I guess we'll just have to leave it till I get to it, because it was going to get. Nah, okay, I hope we come to it before I could do rabbit holing and opinionating. Right, Lenovo, well-known company, announces a standalone 4K headset designed for enterprise VR. Um, I think this had already been announced when we did last week's show. I can't quite remember. Anyway, it's got 4K visuals, hands-free control, and a movable faceplate ready for mass use. And also, I don't know when I've got it loaded anymore. Of course, when it came to technology, Apple, it was revealed this week that Apple have a patent on the AR glasses thing, but Well, it's they've got several patents, I think, but they've actually got one which apparently will eliminate the need for prescription lenses because the lenses in the Apple Glass, I think it's going to be called, actually auto adjust to your required prescription. I think I'd see that when I believe it when I see it, but
Mm-hmm.
it would be a nice touch if they could come up with something like that and skip ahead of the crowd, so to speak. Anyway, besides this, this post is at vrscout.com, so that's vrscout.com, and Lenovo's 4K headset, of course. All right. Now, Voices of VR, there have been a couple this week. The first one was 917, promoting diversity and inclusion in XR, which of course is VR, AR, and the whole shebang. And interesting interview it is. The other one's a bit more off center for our interest actually, and I haven't got it loaded here. But of course, you can find this and others at voicesofvr.com. That's voicesofvr.com. And this site and all the interviews are done by a chap called Ken Bai. And coming up, I hope, if I haven't lost it, is a link to an actual text interview done by Ken Bai, as well as, of course, all he's also via Twitter and stuff been covering a lot of the conferences of late. The OR conference that was 2 weeks ago, and during this last week, I've been attending a lot of the AR VR conference, which is it crosses three time zones. So it starts in the Indian subcontinent and ends up on the west coast of America. It over the course of the day. They're actually based in Portugal, but they're hardly mattered this year because it was all online. The Australians just had to get up a bit early to catch India, I believe. You can't satisfy everybody, can you? Um, Anyway, more on that as we go. But this is voicesofvr.com for that particular chat. Right. Um, this site is called extremetech.com. So extremetech.com. And June 2nd, this would have been posted by David Cardinal. That would be Tuesday. Um, these are about smart contact lenses as opposed to glasses, which will overlay info on your eyes, basically, not your screen, and without obscuring your view. And I guess whether that's actually a screenshot of any sort or whether that's actually just a simulation of what you. No, it's probably a screenshot because it just need a second cyclist, really, don't they? Um, anyway, display magic at the heart of Mojo Lens, and as you can see, they've got a diagram showing you something or other, like the way it's built. It doesn't tell me much about how it works, but there's enough text here that I think if you really want to know more about that, you'll find it. Yeah, it makes you wonder if you're ever going to want glasses. If you're, I'm a reluctant spectacle wearer, to be honest, and the idea of contact lenses, I've never liked the idea of sticking something in my eye at all, but especially if you have to keep taking those things out and washing them overnight. But who knows? Who knows what the future holds? You've got to admit that's probably more convenient for some purposes than spectacles are. So, moving on, as I say, that one is at extremetech.com. Right. Okay. Now, this is I hasten to say, the most popular Twitter post of the week, as far as I'm concerned. People were sending me comments on it, and people have been retweeting it, and but whatever. It's actually posted at venturebeat.com, which is venturebeat.com. And it's about a company called Seek, not seeking patents, it's a Seek, have actually patented the creation of cross platform AR assets, which could also be VR assets in many ways because it applies to any 3D models. And it the comments about this obviously tie in with interoperability and stuff like that. these people seek have successfully patented a key technology which will convert any type of 3D model into a platform agnostic augmented reality asset. Um, so where this puts the various warehouses that give you 3D objects and stuff like that, and all the different 3D formats for objects, I'm not quite sure. And this is the first I know of this company, but it certainly seems that it's like a instant conversion of various 3D model file types into something that you will be able to use virtually anywhere because it does say agnostic, not platform specific. Exactly how well there's illustrations you can blow up here and look at it and stuff. Exactly how this company Seek itself would earn their money, I'm not quite sure, so to speak. Seek says it's using technology to democratize AR and enable brands to offer augmented reality solutions without the need for apps. So there you go. But it's stirred a few people to reaction, as I said this week. So how it will play with other products that are aiming for cross platform use, I don't know. Right. Well, yes, venturebeats.com that was. Okay, Accel Events, the ultimate guide to virtual events. Yes, this is ACCELEVENTS.com. So accelevents.com. And this guide to virtual events, fairly simplistic stuff here. Um, Obviously telling us why. Gosh, it's a pandemic, we've got to go virtual. But then goes on about various forms, why you'd want to do it, how to plan the virtual event, identifying your audience, etc., marketing, developing contacts, approaching sponsors, etc. But I have to say that having done all that, they end up by choosing a virtual event platform, none of which really what well, they seem to be thinking that anything online, like a webinar, is of sorts a virtual event. I suppose it is in a way, but they don't really seem to address what I would call a virtual environment for an event. It's just about hosting an event in the virtual world of onlineliness. There's a word for you, onlineliness. Yes. So,
I like that one.
anyway, it might be useful for many people who wouldn't normally want to delve into, a 3D environment. So that's accelevents.com with that little guide of theirs. Right. Now, I mentioned Kent Bryant, Voices of VR, a little earlier. On Wednesday, he posted this essay on Immerse, which is a subdivision of Medium, and I'm grateful to say that this seems also to be accessible without going through Medium's paywall. I think a lot of their, subcategories are. Anyway, this is about distributing immersive stories at virtual festivals. And he's basically, it's interesting because this is only a small aspect of the things he interviews people about, but he's used his experience of interviewing people and doing stuff himself to delve into immersive stories. Of course, it was Kent who also demoed at was the All Conference the new audio spatial version of High Fidelity. Um, uh, he's very keen on that. Maybe he's planning to do 3D podcasts. Well, there's a use for them. Anyway, long article there. So, and a very good writer as well as interviewer, obviously. Okay, oh yeah, you'll find this at Immerse News. You don't go to Medium Direct. You go to IMMERSE.news, and then you'll find the article. Um, it will load the Immerse page at Medium, but as I say, it bypasses their firewall, so very good. Okay, back to VR Scouts now. they've got a post about this VR haptic feedback wearable feel belt. Lets you feel. Lots of feely here, isn't there? The entire frequency spectrum. That looks rather nifty. Don't know about the colour, but I mean, it's. I presume it'd be available in other colours. Keep your pants on. Feel belt will shake, rattle, and roll. ROLE. Ha ha. Your VR experiences. Yeah, well, um, don't know about the grammar on this, but never mind.
Hmm.
It's actually a German-based company called Feel Belt, and they want to deliver this belt capable of transmitting the entire frequency spectrum from 1 to 20,000 hertz in the form of haptic feedback. Well, good luck to them, really. I imagine it could work. You know that sort of slow rumble, or it's like deep bass in music and stuff. When you're actually in a chair with like haptic feedback, or on a thrill ride in a something, where everything vibrates awfully, and you really think the chair's going to fall out from underneath you. I can't see that experience quite being replicated by a simple belt, but for most things like or audio things that include a haptic component, rumbling and things like that would probably work. So it would depend on the price, of course, whether I would actually bother to actually obtain one of those things. But price is something they haven't actually don't think they mentioned here. No, they go on about quite a lot. Oh, here we are. Sorry. Yeah, it fits humans of all sizes. Gosh, golly. I hope so. Compatible with multiple systems, you can pre-order it now on Kickstarter for €199, which is approximately 222 US dollars. And I think it's about 200 UK pound, but I think we're close to parity with euro at the moment. Um, okay, so find more about that at vrscout.com, VRSCOUT.com. Moving on, this is a site called Life Pulse Health.com. So it's a well, I'll spell it out for you. LifePulseHealth. So it's three words, Life Pulse Health, but squashed together as one. .com. Not the easiest of websites to remember, but there you go. Anyways, this is about a Canadian startup called Hopin World, and it's launching a VR application for companies and users to meet up virtually in real world locations. Now, this is unusual. Um, it's not at all clear to me exactly how this works. It seems to be a combination of 360 video, i.e. the photographic kind of VR, but with a layer that allows you to meet people in a location of your choice. So, I mean, let's say you've got friends who are scattered. I mean, this is a bit inappropriate in days of COVID, but let's say you've got about a dozen friends who are scattered around different locations. They don't live with you, right? But you're planning to go on holiday together to a particular location. Well, I can see that an app like this would allow you, firstly, all of you and your friends to log in to this photographic VR location and explore it together, with a view to deciding whether you would where it's a good place to choose to go. Not that you would be able to go in the current climate, but at least you'd be going virtually, if you see what I mean. So maybe if you spend the next few years visiting places virtually, if the lockdown ever does lift properly and you can travel, you by then you should have had a pretty good choice on your plate. You probably made your mind up 100 times over. So anyway, um, th- uh, I'll go with this because it's different, and it's interesting that the news has come from. Well, it's obviously a health based site. So yeah, media contacts, and everything is at the bottom of the article. So that's quite interesting. So it's www.lifepulsehealth, three words squashed together there, .com. Right, moving to. Do you know? I've just realised we've got music playing in the background here. Can this be heard? Can this be heard, James?
Just barely. I don't think it's distracting.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we'll leave it on then.
Hmm.
It probably helps put everybody a bit more relaxed if they like jazz, I suppose.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. This is techradar.com, techradar.com, and it's a post called Simplifying Remote Work with VR. Can VR meetings eliminate video conferencing fatigue? Well, a lot of people are saying that they get fatigue from using Zoom. Personally, I have a slight theory. I mean, I'm sure you get the fatigue anyway. On this, so, you know, even one to one on Skype and things. Um, I think one of the problems with video conferencing software is people put their webcams on top of their computer and they lean forward right into the computer, so their head sort of takes up the whole screen. And when you're looking at them, you really, I mean, it's worse in high resolution, of course, but you really feel like they're dominating the picture. Now, if you actually consider if you were meeting them face to face, your face would never be that close to them. You know, you wouldn't be trying to spit, as it put it crudely, in the other person's face. You'd be on the other side of a table or something. So, I mean, if you're going to position yourself for a Skype call or a Zoom call, I don't think there's that much need for to get that close to your monitor. And it's not from your point of view; it's the effect you will have on other people if you're like literally in their face all the while. You know, nobody wants to have an hour-long corporate type conversation, for example, with their boss, where their boss is literally a giant face in front of their screen that they've got to kind of look to. So I think there'll be a lot less of this. What's the word, fatigue. You know, if actually the video presence in video calls wasn't quite so dominant, if people weren't so close to their cameras. Obviously, if you're recording a news piece for a news program and they want to get you close up like a television camera would, but for longer time, then I think it's much better if you're sort of in the room and the room's in the call rather than every detail of your sort of a 4K aging nose or whatever. You get the idea. Anyway, those are just some brief thoughts there. I'm not going down the rabbit hole on this one. As I say, this post is at techradar, all one word, .com, and it's all about adapting to the new normal. Yes. And look there. Actually, that's probably a reasonable distance, come to think of it. Maybe a bit further away, but it's anyway, just tips and talk basically. Right, moving on. More medicine, as it were. This is Medical Daily. That's how the website is too. medicaldaily.com. Medicaldaily.com. And yeah, we don't want that breaking news stuff at the top. What is what is nice sites that's got COVID data at the top as well, updating. Anyway, this actually is about, of course, how virtual reality video games are helping patients regain mobility. It's not a news story, but it's a story that's always worth, bringing to light. Also, patients without mobility and stuff like that. A lot of people in this COVID age who've actually contracted COVID and just got over it, maybe even without having to, go into respirators or anything. It does leave them very depleted and in some cases really lacking a lot of their normal physical functions. So they need to recover. It's not like they have lost those abilities, it's just they need to recover them. So again, virtuality, probably has. It's the same use, but it's got more customers, if you see what I mean, in the current day. So you'll find that at www.medicaldaily, one word, .com. All right, moving on. Ah, yes, this is what I wanted. Um, okay, this search I only loaded to remind me to tell you about it. So this is the US Patent and Trademark Office, and optical systems with multi-layer holographic combiners. Well, that's an elaborate way of talking about Apple's focusing business that eliminates the need for you to have glasses. Um, I'm not going to read out a trademark description. I'm sure you can find it if you need it, but as I said, I put it up just to remind me if I'd forgotten to mention it. Right. Um, Dance Music Northwest. This is DANCE and then simply NW. So dancemusicnw.com. And they've a UK bass music duo, Coven, opening a fully immersive virtual club. Um, Now, I haven't tried the club or anything yet, but they did announce a Discord channel, and I added that to my Discord sort of catalog, so to speak. And I have realised that it's very, very busy indeed. So I presume that even this, although it's in the beginning stages, has obviously got a lot of interest if to judge by the Discord channel. Plus, of course, their music can be obtained as well um, uh, by downloads, of course. There's a free version of this thing called Another Home, which can be experienced via Twitch. But for the full experience, this is for events. Attendees will need to purchase tickets, prices and dates yet to be announced. This actually, no, this isn't actually the one. There's nothing particularly new about charging for this kind of stuff, although they're often free as well. Um, I've been, I have some thoughts. It's not to do with. No, wait. I will find the actual. I'm going to find the link that actually will spark what I want to say. Right. Five ways virtual reality will improve the quality of education. This is a site called dignited.com or Dignited. No, Dignited. Dignited.com. Five ways virtual reality will improve the quality of education. And again, nothing particularly new here. You know, real world people with helmets, avatars in a virtual place, and a real world person looking at a virtual place, I guess. A bit of everything thrown in here, isn't there? Again, it's a sign of the times that a lot more articles are coming online these days talking the basics because obviously headsets VR is a completely new thing to the masses, shall we say, without being offensive, who are now having to explore these options because they can't do things the real world way, as they say. So dignited.com for this one, dignited.com. Moving on. Right, now, as I said, I was at the VR Global Summit online this week. And yes, it says successful. They're doing another one in September the 16th to the 18th. They really can't wait to do it next next May, can they? Or next June. Um, they've already rolled up at the bottom. They had it this past week. There were 11,000 plus attendees, 250 plus speakers, exhibitors, plus thousands of interactive one-on-ones, 30 network sessions across 3 time zones, resulting in the ultimate global event. Um, some people said it wasn't as well done as all, but I actually would beg to differ. I think actually, it was organised a bit differently. um, Timekeeping on their slots seemed to be their biggest problem, and pressing the button for one session to go live, as opposed to, sometimes the main screen had a side event on, and the actual main event was on a different place. Um, but it all took a bit of getting used to, and most of the important stuff is recorded, so you can go to YouTube and play it back. Unlike all, this was entirely free as well. Um, um, Obviously they had sponsors and things like that, and I think there may have been a paying level because one of the options you had. was, if I don't know, say a CEO of a company did a keynote, there was a button you could press to book a one-to-one conversation with the keynote speaker. So presumably not everybody would do that, but if you had a particular reason to want to get in touch with the speaker and chat to him, they had an on-site video calling facility, so you could actually speak to a presenter or one of the or just one of the sponsor sort of event. There were lots of exhibition bits as well, which were mostly video, and you could also interact with those. So I thought it was well done because if there was any time the main stage didn't have something of particular interest, there were these other parts of the site. You could press a button and jump to something more specific. Um, so I thought it was quite good, and I've already booked my put my name down. Yeah, it was over on Sunday, and lo and behold, we've got the next one advertised by about Tuesday. So I jumped in there and put my name down um, already. Not that I'm sure you wouldn't need to. Yes. Now, this is interesting. Charlie Fink did something there, major, so to speak. He's also at Forbes these days, of course, and Amy Peck is pretty big too. It's actually the Charlie Forbes thing that is prompting what I want to say, but it's not here anyway. So, anyway, this is VRARGlobalSummit.com. So that's VRARGLOBALSUMMIT.com for the announcement about next year and book if you want. Right, this is the London Evening Standard. This is London's only real, apart from the cheap sort of free. But well, actually, I think Evening Standard's free now as well. But it's a long time, long-lasting London, UK evening paper. Um, um, in my lifetime, I think there were about five when I was young, then four, then three, then two, and now we're left with this one. They are sadly rather what they call conservative, but they don't let it get in the way too much. Um, what's good about this, though, is that they're advertising a London firm who's created a fortnight-like simulated 3D office for those working from home. Now, this London firm just happens to be science-based, of course, and oh God, I've forgotten the name of the new bit of it. Yeah, Break Room, which is the one designed for stuff. But anyway, they sent somebody in to um, investigate it all, and they've taken a nice little screenshot there. I don't know who that is on. Oh, the one on the person on screen on the right is Adam Frisbee. I presume the one that I don't know who the one on the left is. It might be Rowan, but I don't think so. But then you're mixing obviously real people on screens with those attending around the boardroom and looking up. And I went into a demo of this. There's a whole lot of stuff you can do very easily. You can share your webcam, as opposed to screen with one button. You can walk and talk with other avatars and things, Second Lifestyle. All the avatars actually have something below the waist. And in fact, I think in some cases they may have more than enough below the waist, but we won't go there. Um, yeah, and so a good place to get publicity. A lot of people pick up this newspaper on the way home from work, read it on the tube, and for that matter, even in the days of lockdown, they read it online anyway because it is literally London's only proper newspaper. There's a lot of London Nows and more socially orientated ones, but this is the big one. Also, I think it was Venture Beat also had a very similar article promoting um, Science Base as well. So both of them. Anyway, this you don't have to go to Evening Standard. I think all you actually need is Standard Co UK for this one. So standard.co.uk. Yeah, where else? Right. Okay. Now Alice Bonacio here is again. This is a medium. But it's actually in EdTech Trends, and for some reason I was able to get here without the paywall. So maybe this is another special one. Irona Cronin and Robert Scoble, luminaries in the VR
Mm-hmm.
world, recently launched a new book called "A Look into the World of Sorry, the book is called "The Infinite Retina." They wrote it jointly, and Alice has actually done an extensive review of the book, so much so that Irina and Robert were praising her, saying what a good review that she'd done, because she got it, as it were. So it's a look into the world of spatial computing through the infinite retina. The graphics here are really meaningless. Uh, in fact, I don't think any of it's offered this. Um, The Infinite Retina comprehensively documents everything you need to know about spatial computing and where it's heading. I don't think there's an actual definition of what the Infinite Retina might be. I suppose it's just a nice name they came up with for. But anyway, this is not the book itself or the article. This is Alice giving a rundown of what's in the book and what she thought of it. You'll have to order the book and pay for it yourself if you want more. Um, oops. Ah, um, come on. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, sorry. I hope I gave you a no for that last one because I can't find it again. Okay, B bomb. This I think is my article of the week.
Oh, okay.
I can see this taking off. Really, it's a mixed reality app that can create a digital companion based on anyone you like. So forget making an avatar yourself by scanning your selfies. This. You look through your screen and you're looking at your own room, or maybe a fictional room, but it's augmented reality. But then you create, high res 3D game style companion who will be with you in your virtual lonely room. And even people who would not normally be on their own in rooms and stuff like that may end up being that way in the current state of affairs. So they may want to, build a companion. And the nice thing about this is apparently that, if you can customize every aspect of this companion's body, including their face and anatomy and everything else. And the thing they seem to be pushing here for you is that you may have somebody you want to turn into a virtual companion, and use their likeness. And a digital companion is not at all creepy until it has the face of your loved ones or somebody who left you or passed away. And then it starts to get creepy, according to the review. But I don't know why. But I can, even the dating thing and whatever, I can see, I can see a future where instead of choosing a real world date on a dating site, you will choose from a selection of avatars that are totally realistic. And oh yeah, I'll book her, please.
Yeah, no potential for abuse there.
Well, no. Well, not any more than the real world, really, I suppose. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, probably less potential for abuse. Being a real life escort, for example, is sometimes rather dangerous, I imagine. So when it's all in the app, probably less so, unless you start doing silly things like exchanging personal information before you know somebody properly. But anyway, yes, I thought that was. I mean, it was just a matter of time until something came along. I think we've seen similar things before, but they've never been put together as a complete package with one focus only, and that is to be have a digital companion in an augmented reality screen. That's all it is. But the magnitude of that and what can be done with it is quite sort of interesting. And oh yeah, the companion will be kept alive using mixed reality and artificial intelligence. So apparently, the idea is the companion does get to know you, presumably based on your input. Sort of what you do, where you go around the room, and stuff like that. So, yeah, who knows what the future holds, as we say, but that could be an
Right,
indicator.
right.
Right, digital friends, whitelist. Oh God, I got to go through all this again. Continue to cite. There we are. Okay, similar thing here. This is digital trends. So digitaltrends.com. Soon you'll be able to exercise by racing a virtual ghost of your past self. Now, the graphics don't look too astonishing here. So I mean, the novelty of having racing against a friend who's passed or something. I mean, how does that work? They recreate things for you, but looking at the graphics on that, I can't see. It looks very inspiring at the moment, but I guess it's early days. Um, the greatest of athletes aren't just competing against one another; they're competing against their own high standards. And same rationale is true for even average exercises, albeit for different reasons. You can take up new forms like cycling, running, rowing, and you're not necessarily looking to smash the competition. We really just want to know we're improving. And so the idea is, I guess, you record your personal best and compete against that. Um, Real and virtual environments augmentation labs called Reveal at the UK University of Bath behind this one. So, as I say, this is at digitaltrends.com. Right, running out of tabs now. I think I've got a lot more to discover. Um, right, right, another haptic device. This is a site called WeVolver. This again has the look of a medium site or a media, a separate site with medium branding. The style sheet is absolutely identical. Um, WeVolver.com is the site you want. And it's looking at AR and VR, developing systems that can incorporate real life objects into the digital worlds. And a few little pictures there. I can't say they're ideally inspiring, but I think the idea is you can be in virtual reality, and for example, and you could pick up a real object in the real world, and there'll be an augmented reality layer that would allow you to merge the two, basically. So you wherever your avatar had its hand would through the augmented reality layer put your hand on the cup you're picking up or something like that. Anyway, interesting science fiction stuff. Not so science fiction, really. Damn it, I've got a fly buzzing around me from somewhere.
A bug?
Ah, yeah, well, just a fly. It's really
Not,
cute.
not not a bug
It's got
in your computer.
no. It's attracted to the light on my screen because this page is in dark mode, so the
Mm-hmm.
fly wants to buzz into it, and I wish it would just go faster and knock itself unconscious. But
Yeah.
they're rather clever things, these flies. Right. Anyway, so you'll find that at wevolver.com. SWAT. Damn insects. They're taking over the world, he is. Yeah, that's the real future. Insect
Mm.
world. Right. Okay, the last tab for the moment, and I obviously haven't found everything I need yet. This is a site called organics.org. That's Auganix. It's not organics, it's organics. You can't tell me.
Augmented
Yeah, it's
organics.
got
Yep.
the AU, not the
Yep.
ORG.
Yep.
Yeah, as in augmented reality, basically, I guess. Again, this got quite a few retweets for some reason. Um, it's actually dated March the 26th, so whatever feed it came to me through it's actually quite old, but I'm glad I got it because a lot of people seem to appreciate the link. Mirrors versus lenses, creating volumetric images solves the divergence accommodation conflict. God, they've got commonly known as VAC. I thought that was vacuum cleaner. Never mind. Virgins accommodation conflict. Well, there you go. I wonder if that's like a convergence conflict. I don't know. And I think you need to be a bit techie to actually read this anyway. But apparently the message is that planar wavefronts are the problem. Freeform wavefronts are the solution. So there you go. Didn't Good to learn something, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Anyway,
was saying that in my sleep the other day.
yeah, I know. But anyway, for those who are interested in this kind of thing, picked up on the link, and I get a notice of all the people that retweeted my links. So yeah, this seemed to go down quite well. So if this is your cup of tea, do check that out. Now that's I think I'm already in augmented reality. There's this buzzing thing that's walking around my screen, blocking my reading. It's only tiny, but it's knocking out a couple of letters at a time. Right, okay. Sorry. I'm going to quickly go to the Metaworld news feed, um, and then I'll come back to the main feed again for one reason or another. This is a post at eventbrite.com. And basically, it's the launch event of the first virtual reality channel for and with autistic people and autism communities. It's in Altspace VR, and the launch is actually on Tuesday, June the 9th, which is this coming Tuesday. And while I'm here, I'm going to stick it in mine. Not that I should go, but there we go. Okay. No peeking, folks. Right. Okay, so you'll find this at eventbrite.com, eventbrite.com, and then I guess on the somewhere up front it's yeah, you'll find reference to it. If not, of course, go to twitter.com Metaworld News and click on the link for that one. There's a video from Science Space all about driving a car. That's not really relevant. Um, Vibella is another virtual world. They have a blog and they have a post on. They're introducing native screen share into their application. Not much to tell you about that. That's what Vibella looks like, and yeah, you can put screen share into it now. Um, Obviously, putting video screen share is very common requirements at the moment. Right, here we are. Arthur Mambuliman's Artist Amphitheatre. This again is on the 8th of June, and this is a temporary amphitheatre that's been designed for this year's Birmingham Festival Man, which will be in virtual reality. And you can get a kind of tour of it at 4 p.m. That's 4 in the afternoon in the UK here. I would be online elsewhere, sure, as well, I would think, but it's being broadcast live on a platform called DZine, and it's a fractal amphitheatre made of timber modules, and it's sort of made. It's a bit like Prince in Second Life, I guess. That's obviously an untextured version, and doesn't never mind. I was going to say that Avatar looks like somebody, but
Oh,
right. Anyway,
okay.
but apparently this is. How do I get myself into trouble? This is apparently what the real structure kind of looks like, and you can go in and tour it. And it doesn't actually say you where. I think you just. I think it's probably straightforward on the web. Um, oh, maybe not. Oh, right. This will be in the Altspace app yet again. Okay. Altspace are really doing very well out of the current situation. So,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
given that, well, they've got the power of Microsoft behind them, haven't they?
Yep.
Anyway, that is dzeen.com you want for that one. Dezeen.
That
Z is.
that particular sculpture reminds me of something we've seen on the Hypergrid um, Safari, and I'm trying to remember where I would have seen it. But there's a classic Second Life designer that has a um, kind of an
Are
honorary
you?
build. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I know who you mean. He did Metaverse Island for us in
yeah,
Second Life.
yep,
He's passed on now, so
yeah,
but so
yep.
there's a lot of people are Luminaire Noir,
That's right. Yep,
Lumiere Noir.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, his technique for building is actually the remarkable thing because he did some stuff at great scale
Right, right.
quite quickly because of his techniques. But yeah, it does have that similarity to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I tend to think of Luminar Noir as being less uniform in design.
Mm-hmm.
This I actually like, and I know you like things that are like concentric design
Well, the
too.
fractal, yeah.
Yeah, well, the left is a mirror of the right,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of thing, where it's sort of, it's not something with an unusual bit sticking out at one particular place, and um, whereas Lumiere, did a lot of curvy sort of stuff that went off twisting at odd angles. There wasn't really a sense of uniformity. In fact, it was his builds was something that you often got really, really lost in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Walking around inside them, you lost your sense of direction very quickly because there was no uniformity to things. Um, and you could tell that even from outside the build. It's
Right,
like a
right.
spaghetti. But anyway, yes, I know what you mean. Anyway, so yeah, that could be quite nice. So there's going to be an Alt Space VR on the um, did I say 4th of June or is it earlier this? Hang on, I've got a horrible feeling that yeah, after all, oh yeah, here we are. It's not the 4th of June. That was the post. It's tomorrow. It's Monday, the 8th of June for that one. Right. There is um, there is a VR mod of Firestorm 6.3.9 available. By the way, it's a hacked version of Firestorm that's meant to work better if you're looking at it through one of those like the Google Cardboard type 3D display. I think where you've got two thingies that merge as one. Um, all right, yeah. I don't do this every week, but I should, and I did put it in here the other day. You can go to this site any day, and it shows you a whole load of events that are happening in the Open Simulator metaverse, the hypergrid. Um, this morning, obviously, it's shown today, and then was not many there, but then Monday, quite a lot. Tuesday, quite a lot. Nothing on Wednesday, nothing much anyway. Quite a bit on Thursday, and beginning of Friday down there. So whenever you go to this page, it has deleted everything that's just finished. So as you can see, it's showing me 8 p.m. tonight, which is, well, actually, that's already started 9 minutes ago. Sunday dancing at the Caribou Adult Castle, which is on this platform, actually, Kitely,
The
but
Kitely,
there
yeah.
you go.
Yep.
And Torben Asp, again, is just started over on the third rock grid. 8:15, just about to start. The Solid Grid Daily Meditations. Giving you an idea of the variety of stuff here. Oh, I love this one, Sunday Fellowship. I wish I didn't have religion in virtual worlds, but this one's actually quite. This was the one without a grid beside it. Well, that's not going to help them, is it? There's no link to go to. Yeah. Anyway, so this I've got it at yourworlds.eu and then hypervents. So that's yourworlds.eu and then slash hypervents, which is hypevents. And as I said, they are updated. They also do have a section listing grids and stuff like that. So obviously the latest news there. One more grid discontinued. Sometimes that says five more grids added, etc. Anyway, moving on. Um, here we are. This is easy. This was the one I wanted to sort of talk about, right? Or I just have a little comment, really. Um, I mentioned Charlie Fink earlier. I think from what I've seen, there is no better person to actually take you on well, it's not a hypergrid safari; it's world hopping. It goes to different platforms. Now, Charlie Fink has had a new book out, remote collaboration, virtual conferences, the future of work. But he likes bouncing around and stuff as well. You can tell by the cover, all the different styles of avatar and stuff. Now, rather than the virtual book signing, it says even I don't know how you'd pull that off. That signing bit, I guess. He's conducting a tour of remote collaboration sites related, mentioned in his new book. And he have a point or maybe more than one to make at each
Oh,
stop. It's
Mal is gone.
oh dear, but I can still be heard, I
Yep,
gather.
yep.
So I'll leave you looking at. Oh, come on. I mean, oh God. Well, I'm gonna have to log out anyway, aren't I? Right. Okay. Just excuse me. Oh, right. I'm totally stuck. Uh, ignore. There we are. So can I exit? There we go. Sorry, I've got my phone. I'm looking on a completely different screen to handle the process of getting myself in and out of our studio because I wasn't looking at the prompt reminding me to confirm I'm still there. Anyway, I'm gonna show you this. Um, Special props and special guests at each stop. Think of it as virtual bar hopping from one collaboration site to another. A microcosm of the experience we had in class when we were researching and collaborating on the book. Right, so that's the first bit of this. Okay, sites they're scheduled to go to are Zoom, not exactly a virtual world, Virtual Bella, which is one we had a post about earlier, another one called Arthur, then Spatial, then Glue, and then the Wild and Flow Immersive. And there might be more. But although this sounds like a fun sort of safari across various platforms, you have to pay. Right? It's a shared, one of a kind in person experience limited to two groups of 20 people. AR and VR headsets are
Ah.
recommended but not required.
Mm.
You'll need to download apps in advance, and he wants to provide some of the things virtual conferences and book signings cannot. Presence, agency, social discovery, and commitment. Well, there are plenty of places you can go to experience this, but not with Charlie Fink curating, so to speak.
Yeah, yep.
A critical component of this experiment is I'm going to charge 99 US dollars for each 60-minute or 60 to 90-minute tour. He says proceeds will be donated to Feed Suckle. And participants will receive a signed limited edition full color paper copy of the book. Oh, so it might be actually it might be paper copy of the book. Hey, actually, yeah, paperback copy of his book for 99 dollars, not cents. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, one is on June 3rd. We've missed that one. June 4th. Oh crumbs! I think we missed them all. Anyway, you can actually email charliefinkassistant@gmail.com to get information about future ones. Undoubtedly, there will be because although you missed the first two advertised this week, the number of venues he's listed as going to um, is certainly more than you'd have got into the first two. Um, yeah. So anyway, I can't even. To follow this link, you'll have to go to twitter.com/metaworld news and look for invitation to world hopping. This is actually an email web page,
Oh,
basically.
yep.
So I could give you an URL, but take me next week's program to read it out, basically. So it's in the Mental World News feed at the oldie Twitter place. Now, I think I'll just divert myself very briefly and do a click and get back into the studio where I can keep James company.
There he is. Yep.
Yeah, so James has now got his buttons and he's got me as well.
Yep.
I am back. Right, okay, let me put that one away. I'm going to put that one away. I'm going to leave this one open. It's nice too. Nice in the background whilst other things are going on. Okay, so going back to my main feed. Um, I have various things up on the Twitter feed. There's a YouTube post oh good, I'm at the bottom. That's good. Right, 6 days ago on a live session, Dora and Friedman on brain control interfaces. This would actually have been on the first day of the conference. Um, a new virtual reality flight simulator. Flight simulators have been around since the beginning of VR. This just happens to be a new one. Um, Again, going to twitter.com, Bones will give you the links to get to these articles. Um, there's another post on Medium, which may be behind their firewall, which is about designing AR and VR for websites, i.e., web VR. Um, the interview with Boy, yes, we did that one. Monthly roundup, we did. Um, CyberXR Coalition releases the immersive technology standards for accessibility, inclusion, ethics, and strategy. Um, okay, oh yeah, you can get a free copy apparently, but you have to fill in a long form saying who you are and why you want it,
Hmm.
as is the way. Um, oh, sorry, I'm scrolling down. I should be scrolling up here. Oh, right, CNET have a thing about a virtual reality startup who want to be using 5G to blow up social distancing. This was actually something that was announced at the All Conference, I do believe. It's the founder of HTC has a new headset. Still quite a bulky thing, but with a different emphasis. He's more interested in social VR spaces, as it were. Moving on up, the latest me. The Godot engine we looked at. Right. Here we are. Uploadvr.com. Um, what is up with this darn thing? Sorry. Yeah. 9 a.m. June the 16th, which I think that's a whole week away actually. Upload VR are having a summer edition that's actually going live. 5 p.m. in Britain, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific, and yeah, this was originally scheduled for the 8th of June and it's now moved to the 16th. Um, so again, totally online. So if you want more about this, go to uploadvr.com. Um, Also, in my feed, there's various links to the final day of all a roundup of the talks from what was not last week, the week before. Um, okay, another immersive. There we are. Site. This is Virtual Reality Reporter. .com, so virtual reality reporter, and that's three words squashed into one.com. And they got a piece on the sixth international conference of the Immersive Learning Research Network, ILRN, who, well, um, exactly what they say are. Theme of this year's conference is Vision 2020, hindsight, insight, and foresight.
Hmm.
It covers it all, really, doesn't it? In XR and immersive learning. So yeah, virtual reality reporter for that one. You can also follow links, and I know for sure that they have a Twitter feed because I it's in my subscriptions, so to speak. Um, let's put the redundant tabs away, except for that one, and we must be getting on now. Um, there's a post for a company called Optim, who are turning the Unreal Engine projects into VR apps for a collaboration. You'll find that at roadtovr.com. And roadtovr.com also has a thing that Kaz and Chari present checking out the Your VR motion simulator. I'm not loading these really just to save time. Uh, I'm just loading the important ones from now on. We looked at the contact glasses. Um, oh yeah, accounts. I'm not going to use that one because it's already happened and I missed it. I was put to go to that, but never mind. Um, right, 13 ways VR looked at that. Um, Datafloqua. Right, this is an odd spelling. Datafloq.com. And a few notable examples of virtuality's use in education. Just a short article there. But if you're an educator, you might be anxious to read all these things. Um, Charlie Fink, who I was just mentioning, again, there's a link to a repeat. It's a YouTube link. It's basically the recording of Charlie Fink's session at the All Conference 2 weeks ago, which was remote collaboration and virtual conferences. And interestingly, that was the most. They just published today. Everybody's favourite sessions from the conference, and that was way up top of all of them. So glad it's available to look at again there. Right, Daytonblog.blogspot.com have a normal sort of thing. Choices in immersive learning design and a video from Diffusion Digital 2020, Forging the Open Metaverse with Crucible. That's a platform called Crucible. Um, HTC, by the way, of headset fame, have actually apparently announced various layoffs amid the COVID coronavirus pandemic. Um, Whether they'll re-emerge making employees next week, like our friends at Magic Leap did, I don't know. Not quite the same category, I'm afraid.
Mhm.
We looked at Seek, didn't we? And Ken Bai's interview. Um, this is another virtual library edition at Medium. So again, it's you don't need the paywall for this. It's talking about where augmented reality could see growth that VR can't. I oh yes, there it is. Yeah, and looking at real world integration and things. Personally, I see them as part of they're not even two sides of the same coin. They're part of, what is called XR these days. These things are will all end up being interlinked in various ways. So I don't tend to react very happily to people that say AR is better than VR or VR is better than AR. They're all part of the future in their own different ways, and I'm sure they will come together. Um, Okay, this one I think this is one I had up and then we lost it, so I'll crash at the beginning. Yeah, here we are. Soundscape VR has announced Conscious Alliance as official benefactor. Um, uh, Basically, Soundstage is it's VR music, basically, and they have had it's not a crowdfunder or anything. They've actually had a uh, um, they're donating 5% of in-game purchases to the Consciousness Alliance, but they've had $10,000 donation from a benefactor, basically. So um, Blender. Oh yeah, right. Okay, we do always getting a lot of Unity stuff coming up, but Blender has traditionally been a program people make their mesh models and models in, and sometimes even exporting them to OpenSim or Second Life, or almost anywhere. Um, well, basically, Blender has now has actually moved to actually include some basic virtual reality support. So it has, as well as actually doing the modeling and stuff like that. I guess it has export and um, facilities for VR and presumably when you rig avatars and things like that, there's extra support for VR and I guess for the interface too. There's a lot when you're moving from something that can be seen on the desktop to something that can be seen in a VR headset. There's an awful lot of stuff that needs to be taken into account that you don't miss on 2D, but you really do in 3D. That was from Blender. That was road2vr.com has had that post. Um, uh, okay, we looked at the feel. Yep. Gloomy Eyes is it's not a game, it's a VR experience that Upload VR have a post on it. They rate it as it's a stunning, intricate, and immersive VR story. Basically, well, I will load it very quickly. Right, Zapper, we don't need. Um, right, application for companies and users to meet up virtually, and we did that one. Okay, this is uploadvr.com, and you a nice little sort of picture there behind the title. Um, the graphics actually aren't anything to tell by the screenshot, but they're really raving about the immersion and how gorgeous this thing is. It's not actually a game, and it's not quite a story. It's a thing, a VR thing. That's what it is. Okay. Now, yeah, I mentioned that Charlie Fink's uh, thing did require you paying 99, what was it, $99, I believe, to go into it. I'm beginning to see a lot more of this now. I mean, obviously there's a lot more stuff coming and being done online at the moment because of COVID. And but what I'm beginning to notice is that events that even in places like Second Life and what that would have been free in the past now tend to be locked down, or worse still, they're charging entry or subscriptions and things like that. Now, obviously, people have to make money in the times of COVID, so maybe they're because they can't charge for something they do in the real world, they're conjuring up things they can do in the virtual world to charge people money for. Um, for people like me who run around everywhere trying to report on things, I'm not going to be paying up for most of these things. You know, but also it's getting a bit confusing. I've mentioned before that, thanks to COVID, there's more and more happening at the moment. And some stuff is free, some stuff is cheap, and varying qualities, and some stuff increasingly is stuff you have to pay for, but there is still an awful lot of it. I imagine most people will go for the ones they don't have to pay for if there's a choice of two or three events all on at once. But as somebody who's been very, I say, active in the idea of promoting virtual worlds and virtual platforms over the years, um, one of the wonderful things you're able to do is tell people there's a conference or a meeting or something that they can go to if they're interested. And they may not be interested in virtual spaces or virtual worlds, but they may very well be interested in the thing that's happening inside that world. Um, and I know a lot of people have been to talks and book clubs and all sorts of stuff in everything from OpenSim to Second Life to Science Space or whatever, because they've heard that the thing is happening. Um, but I wonder if they would have gone and taken the risk of going to something a bit different, fully virtual, if they'd been asked to pay for it. And I'm not at all sure they would have done. It's almost like they need to jump in and get their feet wet before they recognise the value. And also, a lot of people will say, well, hang on, because of whether it's because of COVID or not, I don't need to travel to this talk. I don't need to pay a ticket to pay the cost of hiring the hall. You know, the overheads of doing this are zero. So why are you charging when you would normally just be charging for to cover overheads that don't exist virtually? Now, if those overheads are kind of are a fee for the speaker or stuff, then fair enough. There's different ways of doing that. But I am um, I am slightly getting worried about increasing elitism and sort of commercial barriers emerging in virtual spaces. Obviously, there's a lot of strictly commercial spaces been coming online due to COVID, which is a different thing. But when it starts happening in what I consider to be community spaces, then I do really start getting worried. I mean, things I can't get into, for example, that I would normally expect to just teleport into, suddenly I can't, and things online that aren't necessarily in the virtual world but want money, whereas to for an hour or something that I would never normally come across. So I don't know. Um, it's a toss up between the commercial world, sorry, and the community world, I suppose. Um, in some cases the platforms don't overlap, so it's fairly clear cut. But when you find commerce sort of taking over and you know um, forming cliques in what are actually community spaces, then I have some hesitation, put it another way. But I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna go on about that a bit more at the
Mhm.
beginning if
Mhm.
I'd actually had, but that was the link I didn't have up at the time. So, um, okay, virtual reality video games helping with mobility, blah blah blah. I think we're just about there now. Yeah, the next global summit. Oh, there's a for speakers for VR Days Europe. The link for this is in the normal feed, the twitter.com Malburns. Um, Basically, they're looking for speakers and giving you reasons to talk there. Basically, and what are the dates on this? Those are previous speakers, by the way. So don't just, likewise, says join them, but they're not there. Here we are. This is quite a way ahead. It's the 4th, 5th, and 6th of November 2020. And at the moment, well, they're co organized with Lava Virtual, so some of it will be virtual anyway. But at the moment, it looks like they're hoping at the beginning of November they might be able to hold it in real life in Amsterdam, although some of it will obviously be virtual. And if things don't improve, of course, it will undoubtedly all be virtual. But at the moment, they're looking for people who want to talk, people who want to exhibit, and yeah, all the other links here at the moment are going to the roundup of last year's content. Um, so I think um, 6 hours. That's not 6 days. No, 6 hours. 6 hours. That wasn't long ago. So we're right up to date now,
Okay.
including the ghost race. Yes. Oh, not strictly VR, but it's a nice sort of thing. Polygon. Virtual museums you can still visit this summer, and it's just a roundup of virtual museums you might care to go to. Strictly speaking, not VR, but in these days when we want interactive things to do, possibly a goodie. And yeah, there we are. So, James, oh, I know, maybe, just maybe, there's something in the picture post. My famous picture post here. Oh, grace, it's crashed whatever was behind it. Okay. Oh, talking of elitist events, this is the fireside chat that's held by billions of us. I don't know how many times a week they do it. They tend to have one sort of celebrity guest for each one, but again, it's one that you can't get into unless you're part of their elite. Um, this is going to be a live webinar tomorrow. The AR/VR Association of Silicon Valley are having a live webinar. They've got Robert Scoble there and Irina Cronin. They're both husband and wife. They actually authored that book we mentioned a few minutes ago. And yeah, well, there's a picture. I'm not sure how to get there. This, by the way, is the news we don't do.
Oh, okay.
Do you get that?
Mm,
Pinocchio, the liar.
okay, all right.
Fake news. I thought that'd be that should go with the White House, I suppose, but it could go in 100 different places, really, couldn't it?
Mm,
What else have I got here? Oh
yeah.
yeah, here's that. Global Music Festivals, 3rd and 4th of July, 8 in the morning to 8 p.m. Europe, no Eastern time. Join the Lost World, stand on the mystical mountain, look across the horizon, and enjoy the tunes. Um, that's going to be held in Sansar, which is the formerly the virtual world, formerly known as Linden Labs, new one, and now known as the independent one. So that could be quite good, very realistic, very ideal world for events. That and oh yeah, did I share that last week? I'm not sure. These are This is a headset, but they actually look more like glasses. I don't think these are actually out yet, but I took one look at them. I know they're in the case, and it's a bit hard to tell, but
Mm.
judging by the size of the nose bit, I think they're more like glasses than a bulky headset. We will see. I found those quite attractive, and no, no, that's something else from way back when. Okay, now in the midst of all that, I managed to lose my. There we are. Everything in the wrong place because of when before we started. So, any thoughts on the everythingness of all that, James?
Uh,
A bit shorter than last week.
right, right. No, afraid I'm don't have many thoughts today.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Fair enough. I should really ask at the beginning when we're all awake, but then you wouldn't have heard the news. So
Yeah. No,
can't
no.
can't
It's quite all
win.
right.
Ask afterwards, and everybody's drained. Ask beforehand, and say what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a human condition, I would think.
Uh, Well, there's another conference on this week, but it's maybe I mentioned it earlier. I forget now, or maybe myself. It's not one I will be attending, but I will be following the links from those that are attending as well, reporting it on it. So we might have some more stuff on that front next
Oh,
week.
okay. Yep.
It's about time these conferences. I don't know about anywhere else, but here in Britain, the conference season is normally about September, October. Or the occasional one in November, the occasional one near the end of September, and October's the real big month for conferences.
Mm.
Um, maybe it's just because these two and others have been online, but I think before summer, the beginning of summer doesn't feel like conference time. But I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm thinking the real world days. It doesn't matter now, does it? But
No.
I think there's a
No.
logic. I think there's that sort of people back at work after summer holidays, hunkering down for winter again, and it's just a time that October's always seemed to be a time
Yeah.
when,
Just the season, the conference season.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, sort of they hold conferences. I don't know why. Anyway, that's fair.
But here
So,
it's probably the academic calendar that's a big influence on that.
um, oh, well, now I'm thinking of general conferences, maybe nothing to do with academia.
Hmm. I'm just
Um,
suggesting that maybe it's the academic calendar that influences a lot of conferences.
but October is term time, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not vacation time.
Oh, you mean so they have they delay the conferences to academic season is back.
Right.
I see. Fine.
And
Uh,
in the United States, anyway, a lot of young
no.
people work at summer attractions, and so they're just not available to do anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can understand why we don't have them in the summer. It's just,
Hmm.
yeah. I used to quite enjoy it. I mean, October was a good time for all the
Hmm.
conferences to
Right.
happen.
Right.
It's for you. Sometimes you almost thought of October as conference month or event month.
Conference season, I've referred to it.
Season. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Fine. Yeah. Anyway, enough of that. Enough of that. Okay, well, I think we can call it a day or a night or tomorrow or wherever you are. Kind of job now.
Okay.
Um, we will be back same time, same place, probably with another bunch of news for you next week. Meanwhile, it is goodbye from this bloke here.
And goodbye from this bloke over here on the other side.
And if you can figure out which one of us has been referred to there, I don't know.
Well,
It's
my
goodbye
my
from both.
lips my lips move, so you can tell.
When I said it's goodbye from this bloke, I could be referring to you or
Oh,
myself.
that's right. Oh, gracious. We're in
I
now
picked
we're in a
you. I picked
paradox.
you.
We're in a paradox. There's no escape.
Yes, I played a little trick this week. I think it backfired on me, but never mind. Okay, we will both be back same time next week. Have a good one. Stay indoors, keep safe, and everything else you have to do to survive in these dramatic times. Bye for now.